Good morning. Welcome to First Local Mornings. Today is Cinco de Mayo, Wednesday, Hump Day. Cinco de Mayo. I am lucky enough to get to spend some time with Dan Gray today. He's a hard man to pin down. How are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I am doing very well, thank you.
It is a bit of an experience to be here on the set in place of Miss Colette. So.
Yes, well, you know, you got some big shoes to fill.
At least I didn't wear your red dress like you suggested I should.
Well, I mean, you had your own concerns about that. Today, of course, being Red Dress Day, also known as the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit. I will have you know that the Red Dress Awareness Campaign did start in 2010 by Métis artist Jamie Black. It has been gaining there some images. Of course, people, if you don't wear red, some people will hang the red dresses. Yeah, gaining momentum across Turtle Island since it began in 2010. Each dress representing an Indigenous woman who has been murdered or is missing. And it's now become a symbol for thousands of victims of violence against Indigenous women and girls. So yeah, we do have some articles. Josie has, of course, done a great job of compiling some information. And one fact really jumped out at me, that Indigenous women actually make up 16% of all female homicide victims and 11% of missing women, even though Indigenous people make up 4.3% of the population of Canada.
And on that note, there's a bit of an issue in Thunder Bay right now where there's a lot of Indigenous women that are going missing.
Okay.
And they're not being reported. They're not, according to some of the locals, they're not being investigated the way they would if they were a Caucasian female.
Wow.
So it's sad. Thunder Bay, Winnipeg, sort of the same way. That's kind of your hot spots for these for this happening is in northwestern Ontario and into Winnipeg. Josie's been an amazing asset when it comes to talking about stories like this.
Most definitely, yeah.
We'll talk her up anytime because
for sure.
She's been able to get into our team and making us realize stuff that we didn't realize.
Yeah, and she has a very quiet sort of authority about it. So, you know,
I wouldn't necessarily use quiet, but yeah, she has an authority about it.
Well, a peaceful demeanor, perhaps. So, at any rate, yes. So today we wear red, and we remember these victims, those who are no longer with us on Earth, but definitely are here in spirit and thought of and missed and represented. Okay, so I will also make note that our MPP Ross Romano is making an announcement today. Of course, Ross being our Member of Provincial Parliament for Sault Ste. Marie, as well as the Minister of Economic Development Corporation, Job Creation and Trade, and Vic Fideli also will be making an announcement. So this will be, there will be remarks at 11. And we will, of course, be throwing to that live, so we will be streaming coverage, so do tune in to see what will be spoken of.
They won't say what they're talking about, but when it's the economic development dude and Ross, they're usually throwing some sort of money into Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, into his area. So,
well, money is good.
Any investment at this point in time from the provincial government anywhere is desperately needed and always most welcome. So here's hoping whatever Ross has on the go here is good for the city.
Dan, this coffee is exceptional. Dan did bring me this coffee this morning because I was running a little behind. It was very good of him to do so. But you know, sometimes you can order a coffee and you can be very specific as to how you would take it. And the mix doesn't quite come off like yesterday. I ordered my coffee, but they put the almond milk that Colette usually gets in it, and you know,
I asked for selection, and they were like, "What's selection?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna go with whatever happens. Do you want to put it out the window? Because I don't do coffee."
Autocorrect is an imperfect beast. And I sent the message, and I was trying to, I was doing my hair, and I was trying to say, somebody bring me a coffee. And it captured selection somehow. So I'm not really sure what happened there. But anyway, just a long-winded way of saying that this is perfectly mixed today. This coffee, they have achieved the perfect blend of, dairy product to sugar, and they stirred. So
And we will thank the wonderful people on Tim Hortons at Third Line for that coffee then.
Yes.
And if you go there at like 7:30 in the morning, there's nobody in the drive-thru lineup.
Perfect. That's a good
bonus.
tip. Yes. Good to know. Good to know.
In some breaking news.
Yes.
It was sent to me today by one of our readers that this is the other side of the border. Bay Mills St. Patrick Catholic Church in Chippewa County was destroyed last night by fire. Details are really thin at the moment, but the EUP News, which is on Facebook, will become available. There is an amazing picture there. I'll share it to my Facebook, and then people can see it from there.
And your pictures tell the story all by themselves more often than not. So ordinarily this is the time when we would be ripping the Band-Aid. I am here to report to you that we haven't had anything from Algoma Public Health with regards to any COVID numbers. Now, before we get too excited, I do recall that sometimes, particularly on the weekends, they will sometimes amalgamate 1 or 2 days worth of counting into one rollout.
History with Algoma Public Health when it comes to how they are producing their numbers and giving out the numbers, they're pretty consistent. If they don't have one to report, they don't put out any press release, because they'll have sometimes we 1, sometimes we 4, sometimes we've had it as high as 6 and 7 and 10.
Okay.
And those are the press releases. When they have none, they don't. It's almost like they don't want to jinx us by saying, "Hey, there's 0 today," because tomorrow there could be 15. Not to say there'd ever be 15, but it's almost like no news is good news when it comes to APH.
Is it?
Well. We'll go with no news is good news when it comes to APH.
What I'm hearing is cautious optimism is warranted.
Yeah,
so
okay,
we'll take our day off from ripping of the Band-Aid, whether it be circular, teeny, large, or plaster-esque. We will take our day off from counting the numbers. Although I'm sure, when we come back at lunchtime, I don't know if you'll be with me or if it'll just be me or what's going to happen.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. And when we do go live at lunchtime, what?
You're up.
I am up. Oh, sorry. Oh, I was already looking at that camera. Maybe I was looking at the wrong camera. That happens
when we do go live at lunchtime.
Well, thank you. When we do go live at lunchtime, we will likely have updated information from the province. So, no COVID numbers to report today. So we're going to go instead and talk about the winners of the Spring Has Sprung contest. First of all, I love the name of this contest because spring has sprung.
It has. And apparently, although I'm not from here, earlier than normal. I was talking to somebody on the weekend who was cutting his grass, and he said this time last year he was blowing his snow. So
somebody is cutting their grass. Did they not listen to my coverage about the bees? The bees need those dandelions. I hope that they've elevated their blade.
It's funny, Amy and I were on our walk last night, and we were talking about the dandelions, and what you said in the morning came to fruition when we talked about how we have to leave the dandelions in the lawn for the bees for a couple of weeks.
See?
So somebody was listening.
Good.
Might just be a coworker, but somebody was listening.
And the note to kind of just put a sign on your line and say, this is a pollinating line or lawn. I am feeding the bees. Okay. Time now for us to flip over to Craig so he can tease us a bit about the weather. Craig, bring us some sun.
Please.
I am trying my best, believe me. We could see some sun later on today. Right now our temperature is 3 degrees, a little chilly out there, plus some winds from the northwest actually at 20 kilometers an hour. So it is going to be somewhat of a breezy day out there, cooling us a little bit. But you'll be happy to know that in the year 2000, today's date, 27.2 was our temperature today. We're not going to see that today. We're going to maybe hit 10 degrees today. And also, if you're looking at the stats, there's a 38% chance of seeing some precipitation on this date in this area. So Might just ring true because there is a passing shower that we have to keep an eye on. Let's take a look outside and show you what we look like. This is downtown from our friends at Wireless.com. Thank you for the live shot, though it is kind of sputtering right now. Let's go over to the radar there, Jacob, and we'll show you what's going on. Oh, did I not ask for the radar? Okay, let's go to the 12-day forecast then. Or 12-hour forecast, 12-day, geez. This morning, we're going to see the clouds. We're currently seeing them now. Temperature's going to range from 3 to 4 degrees. We are going to miss those, or those clouds are going to move out later on today, giving us a nice shot of sun with temperatures around 10 degrees. Again, with those winds, it's going to feel a little cooler out there. And for your evening, not bad. We're going to stay with a mix of sun and cloud, and temperatures not all that bad actually for the evening. I will have your 3-day forecast coming up in just a bit.
Thanks for that, Craig. Again.
Sunshine later today. That's, I guess, about as positive as we're going to get out of all of that, because it hasn't been sunshine the last 2 days. I stood outside in the rain for an hour and a half last night, and it was not the most generous fun in the world.
Why were you standing in the rain?
I'm talking to sources. That happens.
Isn't this where you say, Heidi, the news won't wait for the sun?
The news doesn't even wait for daylight most mornings, so hell with the sun.
Most definitely. Okay, so back then to the winners of the Spring Has Sprung contest. For those of you that don't know, the city of Sault Ste. Marie did host a Spring Has Sprung contest. So the mayor's award for this contest did go to the Vance and the West families for decorated portions of the John Roswell Hub Trail. The winner for Ward 1 was Nico Aquino Soriano at Harton Street. Ward 2 was the Jesso Danes family at Wellington Street East. I don't know if I'm supposed to be actually giving their addresses. Like, I suppose it is on the website.
It is on the website. It's public information.
Okay, so if you
that's going to be our excuse.
If you want to go and see these lovely these winners, because for those of you who didn't know, the contest challenged local children and their families to decorate the windows and the front yards of their homes in celebration of the start of spring. So, a nice way to kind of get the kids busy with something. All winners receive a gift card from a local garden center, and Mayor Provenzano and the city thank all the participants for their submissions. So again, the Nico Aquino Soriano family at 94 Harton Street did win for Ward 1. The Jesso Danes family at 476 Wellington Street East did win for Ward 2. Ward 3 was Aini O'Callahan at 149 Tilly. Ward 4 was Abby Beauchamp, or Beecham, depending on which way it's pronounced, 1336 Peoples Road. And Ward 5 was Sylvia's Home Daycare at 902 Town Line Road. So again, congratulations to the winners, and congratulations to all who participated. Over to you.
Yes, and so we're going on down our little checklist here, and we have a Algoma Sikh Association makes a donation to Grocer for Good. So the Algoma Sikh Association throughout the month, Sikhs commemorate Sikh Heritage Month, which is celebrating over 100 years of their Sikh Canadian history. Usually through the initiatives such as Langar, and I know I'm going to mess these up, free community kitchens, and Seva, selfless service, to Sveda, charitable donations, Sikhs across the world mark this month as an auspicious time. This year, the local Sikh community spent the month fundraising for Grocer for Good, and the local organization had just obtained a charity status in April, so that was great news to see.
Yeah.
So, and on to you.
Well, you know what? I think now's as good a time as any to take a break. So I'm going to say, all of you, please do stay tuned. We have a lot of news to get through today. We have some factoids for you. We have some, we have a missing dog. We have a local artisan who will be featured later on in the show. So,
and we got some firefighter facts and a few other updates on stories. So.
Absolutely. So do stay tuned. Come on back.
What's your thing? bug. Everybody's gotta have a thing.
My thing's sound effects. Here's a T-Rex.
Nobody's good at everything. Everybody's good at something. What's your thing?
Good morning and welcome back to First Local Mornings. Today you have Dan and Heidi. Dan, of course, being in for the lovely Colette. Cinco de Mayo, Hump Day.
What did I say back in the newsroom? We can't even think about calling ourselves Mexican if we don't talk about Cinco de Mayo.
Well, and we have a factoid ripped around that for sure. But first of all, we have a little dog who has slipped out of his foster home's fence. So do we have a picture of Gunner? We want to look for this little guy. We want to help get him back to his foster home so that he can, be put into a home permanently.
I live not far from where this dog went missing on the weekend, and the amount of people that were out looking for this animal was astounding.
Even when here's Gunner. There he is.
There's Gunner.
Gunner, look at how sweet he is. So anyway, he did slip out of his foster home's fence on Sunday evening, which would have been May 2nd. And this is in the Farwell Terrace and Rossmore area, Garson's Hill specifically, okay? So despite, as you're saying, the robust efforts the community has put forward, Gunner has still managed to remain elusive. He's a medium-sized boy with a very bushy tail. Last seen wearing a multicolored collar. He is timid but friendly. Has been seen in Bayview, Wallace Terrace, and Second Line West areas. So he is assumed to be traveling west.
So he was seen on Lees Bay Road last night about 8:30.
Okay.
And they're asking you if you see this animal, do not approach.
Oh, because he's timid, or?
He's very timid, and a few people that have approached him to capture him, he's run away from. It will take a team effort to capture him because he comes from an abused home.
Aww.
Or he's a foster, so you can kind of make that sort of jump that he comes from a home that may not have been so well for him.
Aww.
But because he's so timid, he does run away from people that he doesn't know. So they're asking you, and I've been following it since we were made aware of this yesterday, that they're asking you if you see him to please just call it in. Keep your eyes on him if you got time to do so, and let the people Lost and Found Pets on Facebook of Sault Ste. Marie on Facebook, and let the Humane Society know, and let the professionals do their job in capturing this animal.
I love how Sault Ste. Marie rallies around.
Absolutely, especially lost dogs, lost animals. It doesn't seem to matter.
When Craig's little Lily went missing, everybody, even I was sharing it and doing my thing. Like everybody, such a supportive community.
Somebody with a dog-searching dog reached out when Lily's.
That's true.
When Lily went missing to see if we can find Lily, and thankfully Lily was found too. So here's hoping Gunner has the same reaction and same.
So if you do see Gunner, please contact his foster mom, who is Julie Beaujeu, through the Facebook group, as you mentioned, Sault Ste. Marie Lost and Found Pets, or by leaving a comment on the article that we've posted on our website.
Yep.
Okay.
So I had the ability on the weekend to spend a little time with our Royal Canadian Legion, and they were covering the Battle of the Atlantic.
Okay.
So I learned something about Sault Ste. Marie at this thing. We had a Canadian ship in the Second World War called the HMCS Sault Ste. Marie. It was originally supposed to be called the HMCS the Sioux, but somewhere along the line in the naming and everything else, they decided to name it after the city. The Battle of the Atlantic was the longest battle in the Second World War. It basically started when the war began and ended when the war ended. And if it wasn't for, according to historians, if it wasn't for the sacrifices of Navy personnel making sure that goods got to Britain, Britain would not have been able to fight or survive through the Second World War. So
wow.
there was the cost to Canadians was significantly high. 2,000 sailors from the Royal Canadian Navy lost their life.
Oh, wow.
1,600 merchant mariners from Canada and Newfoundland, and 752 Royal Canadian Air Force members lost their life fighting the Battle of the Atlantic. So a little factoid on factoids. Hey. The merchant mariners were not recognized for their service.
Okay.
In the Second World War for many, many years after. I don't remember exactly when it was, but you're probably touching 30 to 40 years after before they were recognized for their service and actually given some of the same benefits that veterans were given.
Okay.
So it's a nice thing to remember, and if you ask the president, she says that anytime we have a chance to remember people that fought for our freedom, it's a good time to do it. So
it is.
Whether it be Vimy Ridge and the Battle of the Atlantic, I know Battle of Britain's coming up here sometime soon, and we always have Remembrance Day.
Yes.
And then on the other side, May 2-4 weekend here over there is Memorial Day. So they get 2 statutory holidays to remember. So
well, and what I think is kind of I mean, I consider our generations to be some of, the last that actually kind of can reach back to that moment in history, right? Like in conversations with my eldest daughter, it's really hard for her to wrap her head around, like she understands the concept. Certainly by grade 6, they've talked about it, but it's hard for her to understand that there could ever have been situations where, and certainly I'm not here to say there aren't significant conflicts all around the world. I just think that it's
ones that so many Canadians were attached to.
Yes.
There's I won't take away from friends of mine that fought in Afghanistan and others, but this is one I was lucky enough when I was in cadets to meet somebody who fought in the First World War.
Okay.
He was one of the last remaining people in Ontario, and I will never forget some of the stories that he was willing to share with the cadets. And to be able to say and try and visualize what he saw, and then just watching how war has changed since trenches to now we do everything. People can fly across the world and war, and then come back all within 48 hours and never even land.
Yes.
So not Canadian forces, but the American forces can fly around the world, do what they have to do, and fly all the way back and never actually land the airplane on the ground.
Well, Dan, you've done some pretty extensive coverage of our veterans and the cadets, so I'm grateful to you for keeping that present in the community collective mindset. You also do a lot of coverage on fires, so to that end, we have spoken about the fire that did happen at Apex, which was deemed to be not suspicious. The Sioux Fire Services has released a press release, so they're saying they're summarizing Friday, April 30th, shortly before 11 p.m. Fire Services crews did respond to a call of an industrial fire in the 1300 block of Gooley Avenue, and you've already reported on this. Upon arrival, there were visible flames from a metal building on the industrial property. Fire crews were able to contain and extinguish the fire. A fire prevention officer, once again, has determined the cause of the fire was undetermined due to...
He's determined it was undetermined. Yes, you read that properly.
Okay. And this is their press release.
This is their press release, yes.
The damage to the industrial building was substantial. Now, wait a minute. He's saying that it was the cause of the fire was undetermined. So if the cause of the fire is undetermined, then how do they say that it's not suspicious? So
that's a really good question, and I've done this for a fair amount of time now, and thank you for the segue.
Here I am asking all of the relevant questions.
3 hours on scene and a bunch of pictures and video that we've all covered and seen since the point. The biggest answer to your question is, I guess they really can't. The damage was so extensive, they couldn't say for sure there was an accelerant used or there was anything used in this case.
Okay.
By the time firefighters rolled up, and I wasn't far behind them, these flames were 40, 50, 60 feet in the air.
Wow.
And the heat, like we could see that from 2nd and Goulet. We could see the orange sky for the fire.
Holy.
So you figure it probably takes between 20 and 30 minutes for a fire to get rolling that much, some of the contacts I spoke with. So anything that would have been used to start it, if it was started, and because it was a sawmill, sometimes they do spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
It does have, which is why he can say undetermined.
Okay.
So there's lots of ways a sawmill can go up, and without having proof of one way, he has to call it undetermined.
Okay, well, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. And Craig, I will only accept more weather if you're going to speak about extensive periods of sunshine and no cloud.
And warmth.
Thanks very much. Well, we should see some sun in our forecast today and some half-decent temperatures. Mind you, might be a little chilly because we are going to see some northerly winds develop. We'll take a look at the radar. You can see, you can't really see this low-level cloud deck sitting over us right now, but it is pushing to the east, and we should start seeing some sun sometime this morning into our afternoon. We have high pressure building into the area. We are watching a couple of systems though coming in for Thursday into Friday. I'll explain that in a bit. Temperature wise, not all that bad. 10 degrees here in the Sioux, 11 degrees in Thunder Bay, 11 degrees in Mackinac, and 9 degrees in Wawa. So we're all seeing half decent temperatures today, so can't complain about that. As far as the systems for today, this is what we look like. High pressure building in. We do have some northerly winds, so it's going to feel a little cooler out there than the 10 degrees we're posting, but this system's pushing out. We are watching these systems coming in for Thursday. That could give us a passing shower, or maybe a chance of flurries Thursday night into Friday. This is what your 3 days look like, starting with today. A chance, again, of a passing shower. There's only like a 30% chance of showers in the area today. So for the most part, we're going to see a mix of sun and clouds, especially into the afternoon when we start seeing a little more clearing happening. 10 degrees though for your high, 10 degrees for Thursday. And another system coming in late Thursday night could change to flurries by Friday morning, and that's why we're posting a little bit of flurry activity for Friday. Again, it's not going to amount to anything, but it is going to cool a little bit Thursday night into Friday, and that could give us that chance of snow. I will give you an update coming up later in the show. Right now, let's send it back to Dan and Heidi.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much.
Yeah, so I don't know what good or bad, we were kind of talking, so hopefully it was all good news. I am able to bring you an update this morning really quickly about a lady that was caught in the Wellington Street fire about a week ago.
They're doing a fundraiser.
They've done a GoFundMe for her and everything else. According to a public Facebook post by her daughter, and what she's been able to talk to me, she is out of the intensive care unit and hopefully will make a full recovery.
Good.
So the prayers and the time and the donations and everything that everybody has sent is greatly appreciated by the family. And I just thought that it would be nice for the public to understand that she hopefully all goes well and is going to make a great recovery here, which is, considering that morning where we thought she was at, it's an absolute miracle.
Right. Yes. Well, that's great news. A wonderful update, and thanks for bringing that, Dan. Okay. Well, we've got some factoids here. You know, I kind of, I like to kind of break it up a little bit, as you know. I don't always do them because sometimes there's just really not much to share. But hey, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, launched today, May 5th in 1968. The Big Mac hamburger makes its nationwide debut with what I just said, created by a Pittsburgh McDonald's franchise the previous year. It originally went by the name The Aristocrat and the Blue Ribbon Burger, both of which did poorly in the marketplace before they finally settled on the name Big Mac. Now here's a factoid about Heidi. I have never eaten a Big Mac. I have never put one in my mouth, not accidentally, not willfully. I have never eaten a Big Mac.
Were you reading my mind? Because I was about to ask you, have you ever had a beef? I don't know many people in my world that haven't had a Big Mac.
I get that a lot. No, I have not eaten a Big Mac. I really, I like their little, just little regular hamburgers. They're always perfectly put together, and I enjoy those. I see no need to take it to the next level.
A Big Mac and a Whopper from the competition. So,
which is better?
I'm not going to go down that road. Nice try, though. I think we're headed to break, are we?
We are going to take a quick commercial break, but stay tuned. We have another factoid and some provincial news for you.
Do your part to help stop the spread of COVID-19. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Cough into your elbow, not into your hand or in the air. Avoid touching your face, eyes, and mouth. Keep your distance from people. Stay at least 6 feet away from others. If you're feeling sick, please just stay home. Do the 5 and keep others alive. Help stop the spread of COVID-19.
The COVID-19 pandemic in Canada is serious. We must continue to practice all public health measures. Follow local guidelines for gatherings. Maintain physical distancing. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and download the COVID Alert app. If you have symptoms, even mild ones, stay home. Protect yourself and others. We've come too far to stop now.
A message from the Government of Canada.
When I found out I had cancer, it was the hardest day of my life. But life is bigger than cancer.
Welcome back to First Local Mornings on Hump Day, because although we've been hitting the Cinco de Mayo, I mean, Hump Day is kind of taking a back seat. But, you know, I'm going to put it out there. What day is it? What day is it? We are halfway to the goal. It's still hard for me to get used to, like, the brevity of the intro. Like, I'm used to, you know, there's like a little bit of lead time with the old one, you know, and the spinning on the blue with the north and the south and the east and the west. So this one's really brief, so I see it come up, and then before I'm ready to speak, I'm on and I'm speaking. So just a quick recap. Our MPP Ross Romano is making a statement today along with Vic Fideli, also making an announcement. So we will be streaming that live starting at 11 today, so do tune in. As well, we haven't any COVID numbers today to report.
Which is
What's
good
that?
news, cautiously optimistic good news if you missed it off the top. Wonderful of APH. They're pretty good to say that if there is some, but if there isn't, they tend to just stay quiet. So we can be cautiously optimistic that today may be the start of it. Hopefully, it's the start of a trend where we don't hear from them.
That would be great.
Not that we don't love hearing from our friends over at APH, but when it comes to COVID numbers, if we don't hear from them at all, that's good.
You know, and well said, Dan, because, you know, I mean, when I say there are no numbers, it just means we haven't received anything yet, but ordinarily they do come out in the evening.
Yeah.
So I'm used to coming in the morning and, you know, gleaning that fresh information while it's still kind of steaming from its newness. And bringing that straight to you in the guise of a Band-Aid ripping. So, factoid number 2, and then we're going to get into
saying hi to our
social
peoples.
media. Yeah. Do you want to speak about the Cinco de Mayo?
I can momentarily speak about the Cinco de Mayo as soon as I figure out which paperwork it ended up being
I've got it
in.
right here.
Why don't you go ahead and do that then? Because somewhere it got buried.
So Cinco de Mayo is commemorating this day in 1862 when a fleggling Mexican army defeated a much larger and much better equipped French force. The French, looking to set up a French empire in Mexico, had invaded with 8,000 troops. However, on May 5th, 1862, the much smaller Mexican army of 4,000 troops defeated the French near Puebla, providing a large morale boost for the Mexican population. However, a year later, the French, now with 30,000 troops, they weren't messing around this time. We'll bring more people. They were able to defeat the Mexican army and installed Emperor Maximilian I as the ruler of Mexico. I don't know if I didn't know all of this.
I knew absolutely nothing, so the fact that you went down that road was perfectly... Well, I'd heard something in my history classes about Mexicans defeating.
Well...
But past that, I'm now enlightened.
Well, yeah, so then the French came in and they set up their empire, but the victory was short-lived because after the American Civil War ended, the U.S. came in to provide support to Mexico. They helped to expel the French, and so In the U.S., Cinco de Mayo has now become a time to celebrate the Mexican-American culture. So there you go.
So what's that? Make sure you have a taco today? That's what everybody when I lived in Windsor, that was always our thing. We had to make sure on Cinco de Mayo we had a taco. So that was our way of celebrating and giving tribute. And believe it or not, there is a bit of a Mexican, especially across in Detroit. There's a bit of a Mexican community, and you can go over there, and they actually celebrate this day significantly over in Mexican Town in Detroit. So.
Well, sure, celebrate. I mean, that's a great story, and I'm glad that I found it, because again, I didn't know. Well, good morning to our Facebook people. You know, they're popping up. They're chatty today, so that's wonderful. We start off with Kathy R. Kathy says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Kathy. I hope that you have a lovely day today. Always nice to see a familiar name. Jim Whitty, hiya, heya, hoya. How you doing, right? Chantal D says good morning with 1 exclamation point. So yes, Chantal, it is a good morning. Again, we are cautiously optimistic. The day is young, but you know, ripe with possibility.
Shouldn't that be the way we look at every day?
Well, I try to be
ripe
that
with
way.
possibility.
I try to be that way myself, you know, but sometimes possibility is always ambiguous, right? Possibilities could be good, they could be not so good. There's always a possibility. It could go either way. That's why it is suggested that when you get up in the morning, you decide right then and there before your feet even hit the ground that today is going to be a good day. That's right. Rohit B.
You've been talking to my therapist, though.
Well, I govern myself accordingly. These aren't just words. Yeah. Rohit says, hey, good morning. Hey, good morning to you. And I love that you've used one of my favorite emojis. Again, like, you know, I like the little kind of, because my eyes kind of squint when I smile hard. And this is a cute one, so I like that. So good morning to you, Rohit. Michelle A says good morning. Oh, wow, and a smattering, a plethora, a quantity of emojis. We've got a hand wave, we've got the gratitude, the sun coming up between the two hills.
I think they want sun.
Yes, I want sun.
I think we all want sun.
Another cute little pink cheek smiling emoji, a throbbing heart, a scintillation, a hand wave. Thank you, Michelle. Marilyn, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. There's a sunshine. We have a masked emoji. We have a little smiling cat, 2 red tulips, 3 red tulips, and 2 cups of coffee.
Which would be about the same size as your extra large sitting beside you.
Pretty much, and I'm going to have another one. That's what I'm going to do. So, Craig, good morning. Who wants a little sun?
I think we've already covered that a couple times during our show. We're getting a little sun this afternoon. In case you missed the news, Craig has told us all we are getting a little sun this afternoon.
Bradley, buenos días. ¿Cómo están mis amigos? Muy bien. Gracias. Kimberly says, good morning, Heidi, Dan, Craig, Dave, and Primary Control. We've got 3 of my favorite smiley emojis. We've got 3 thumbs up, 3 cups of coffee because she knows I love the coffee, and 3 sunshines. Good morning to you, Kimberly.
We have Margaret McKegg, and she says good morning to all. No emojis, no nothing else. And then merci beaucoup. I've already talked to this person on the phone this morning. Good morning. It's so nice to see me this early, and she loves what you've done with your hair. Our master control does occasionally kick in and say hi to people. Steve Child says good morning all, and don't forget, Dan and Craig have a great week, I believe. It would be you're better at these acronyms than I am. Mark Jordan, as long as you can get properly caffeinated, Heidi, as she is taking a sip of her properly caffeinated, properly stirred drink. Cindy Bromley says good morning, all happy hump day. She's got coffee, she's got camels, and she's got flowers as galore. Hi, Mom and Dad. Watching from wonderful Center Wellington, Ontario. Little ways outside of the hotspot, but definitely down in the area. And then Sabra, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to go with Sabra, says Happy Cinco de Mayo, and back over to you because I can't say the next name.
Inika. See, Inika, it's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful name. So good morning. Inika says, good morning, everyone. Offering up 2 cups of coffee, a nice smile, a pink tulip. She says that she wishes that they had Tim Hortons in the Netherlands. Don't they? I thought Tim Hortons was everywhere.
We will have to get together and send her a can of Tim Hortons.
Well, I don't know if it's the same when you make it yourself. I've never found it to be the same. I'm not that easily swayed.
She's never had it, so this would be her first.
She has had it. She says that when she's in Canada, it's the
she
first
does
thing
have.
she
Well,
buys.
then no, sorry, we're not going to send her because it isn't the same.
And she's laughing about that. So, Inika, you're in our thoughts. I will take a sip in your honor.
We have a good morning from Allie and Ron Rollinson, and Steve Childs gives us 3 bees and a flower. I think he's referring to our comments on please leave the dandelions alone. At least that's what I'm going to hope he's saying anyway.
Feed the bees. Without the bees, we are nothing.
Karen Bridges, good morning from Chris and Karen. Good morning to you too. We have Tony Mancuso saying, good morning, everyone. Just sitting back enjoying my coffee and listening to our local news. That's what we hope to bring you here every morning, and I hope that's what brings you. Plus the personalities, whether it's me here occasionally or you and Colette. We hope you all have a good time watching the show as we deliver it to you. Shirley Cook, good morning. Yes, please save all the bees.
Yes.
It is a big theme that was pushed for a while last year, and it kind of went away with winter. So we're going to head back over to you, and you can do a few more.
You're shying away from Inika because she popped up again.
I'm smarter than that.
Inika says, today is Liberation Day in the Netherlands.
Yes.
We still thank all the soldiers who liberate us. So yes.
It is amazing what they go out and do, probably not so much in COVID, but I've watched video of children that will go out and literally lay little Canadian flags at all the headstones, even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So to watch the ceremony and watch them do that, it can be emotional.
Yes, it can be very emotional. Joseph says, this is Joseph, my friend from Maker North. Hello, Joseph. He says, good morning on TV gang. We say good morning to you and your gang. I'm sure Riley is busy doing the things that Riley does. Good for you guys solving problems. Sabra, welcome Dan. Great reporting today, guys. Thanks, Sabra. I love that you watch. Sabra is very active participant, and I really encourage that. When you are doing community-based news for a community, it's always lovely to have community input. So we welcome that interaction of any kind. So,
and I will gratefully disagree with my mother, who is turning almost 65 here in a week or so, that she has never had a Big Mac. I can distinctly remember my mother having 1 Big Mac. Oh. It was a long time ago, and she'll argue with me until probably the day is over. But I do remember you, Mother, having a Big Mac, so don't give me that.
Marge, I agree. I have never had a Big Mac.
Well, I haven't known you as long as I've known her.
Well, it feels like we've known each other always, Dan.
Oh, I don't know. And sometimes that's a good thing, and I think you can agree. Sometimes we wonder if that's a good thing. Good thing, if anybody's noticed my grammar has gotten a whole lot better, we can thank the person sitting beside me.
Well, yes. Everybody needs somebody like Heidi. So, okay. And if you didn't know that you needed somebody like Heidi, I'm here to tell you that everybody needs a Heidi.
And I just told everybody we need a Heidi for our grammar, so we're good.
Hey. So, I'm sorry, we're going to commercial now? In a minute and a half. Okay,
we got a few other people then.
Yeah, that gives me... Okay, so we'll head into a little bit of provincial news. Did you know... Okay, so we talked about... I think it was... If it wasn't early last week, it was the week before. We talked about how some initiatives are being activated, particularly in Toronto, one of the... like in the hotspot regions, where if there's an outbreak of 5 or more, that the public health units can go in and close the business down temporarily.
I think they said for up to 7 days or something to the effect.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what the number was, but yeah, they can go in and they can say this is your thing. So
kind of in contradiction with that, the Toronto airport where 13, there is a Toronto airport hotel where 13 staff have tested positive for the virus, which is not going to be fully closed.
I wonder if it's one of those.
They're not going to be closed. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, closed. Yeah, that's why I saved you. No, I wonder if that's one of those hotels where they use for the travelers that come in. That could be.
I'm
and
not
that's
sure.
why, but there wasn't many details to that. So
yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I have information.
Have fun.
So Toronto say that. So public health officials say they won't fully shut down a federal quarantine hotel for international travelers where more than a dozen staff have tested positive for COVID-19. So Toronto Public Health says inspections on Tuesday found some areas for improvement, like more restrictions in the lunchroom, more signage, and centralized screening. It says the workplace implemented health's recommendations and inspectors found strong adherence to public health measures. And here it is again, ordinarily, workplaces in Toronto with 5 or more COVID-19 cases may be ordered to close. But public health says because hotel provides an essential service, it may only face a partial closure.
see how I lined you up for that?
You're a good man to work with,
You
Dan
asked
Gray.
me a question and I was able to answer it. Now I asked you a question and you were able to answer it.
Well,
welcome to our morning.
There we go.
I think we're headed over to commercial, so
We are.
off we go. We'll see you shortly.
Is going to a party really worth it? Putting yourself at risk puts everyone at risk. Help limit the spread of COVID-19.
Together, we can reduce the spread of COVID-19. Taking the bus? Picking up a prescription? Getting groceries? Stay 2 meters apart at all times. Save lives.
Always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind.
Good morning and welcome back to Cinco de Mayo, Hump Day, First Local Mornings, Dan and Heidi.
And maybe the most important is the missing Indigenous Women Day.
Absolutely, yep. Hence our red
shirts.
That's right.
So in a little more provincial news, Ontario has decided that all the outdoor recreational facilities, and I'm assuming this is also golf, are going to remain closed until the cases decline significantly. Health Minister Christina Elliott said the province currently has no timeline for the reopening of facilities such as tennis courts and golf. See, if I'd have read this ahead of time, I wouldn't have had to say assuming, but we're going off the top of the head here. So we need to limit the mobility as much as possible to reduce transmission, and we are going to be assessing this, she said. But for right now, we will need to continue with these measures in place to reduce mobility and reduce transmission. This seems to be a standard line for the province when it comes to why they've put restrictions in, whatever it happens to be. It's reducing mobility and reducing transmission. Okay. So these are the reasons they do it. So we can like, we can not like, we can give them thumbs up, thumbs down, we can give them angry faces, but these are what they're going to tell us we're doing. So hopefully people will follow along.
Yes. The other thing that people tend to follow along with is the weather. So we're going to go back to Craig, get the last bit of weather, and then we're going to launch through the rest of what we have planned for you, including that local artisan that I want to showcase today.
Well, we have warmed up 1 degree since the last time we spoke. It's now 4 degrees. The winds are from the northwest at 16 kilometers an hour. They're going to be gusty to about 20 to 30 kilometers later on today. As we start losing the cloud, we'll take a look at the radar, show you we do have a slight chance of a little bit of a shower. There we go. Oh, where am I looking here? We have just a little speck just north of the Sioux. that is going to be the slight chance of showers today. Otherwise, we're going to see just cloud, and those clouds are thinning out as we speak, and we should start seeing some sun late this morning into our afternoon. We'll take a look now at the 12-hour forecast. Just to recap, we are sitting at 4 degrees. We still have that cloud, but we will see those clouds thin out with some sun this afternoon into our evening. Not bad temperature-wise. I'll be back at 1 o'clock with your next update.
Hey.
Yay.
Okay, so we're just kind of reconfiguring what we're going to still roll out for you here, because again, like I want to, we have a few more pop-ups on Facebook. There are a few things that are happening in the community that I want to hit. So I'm looking at all of these zesty stories and trying to determine which one I'm going to roll out for you.
Ontario is looking for 25 extraordinary individuals passionate about the outdoors. The Ontario government is enhancing the protection of the province's precious natural resources and ensuring public safety by recruiting additional conservation officers.
Okay.
Ontario's natural resources are world class. To maintain that standard, we promise to hire more conservation officers to protect our natural resources, said the Premier. Today, we're making good on that commitment. The province has just announced that the recruitment is now open for 25 additional conservation officers across Ontario. Conservation officers are tasked with patrolling lakes, trails, and back roads of Ontario to protect our natural resources and ensure public safety. They are professionals, armed peace officers trained to police standards. If you want to read more about this, or if you think you want to become a conservation officer, there's links and stuff on our website to enroll, or at least apply.
Yeah, great opportunity, particularly if you are, as they said, passionate about the outdoors.
Just watch for ticks.
What's that?
Just watch for ticks.
Oh, okay. I heard something else entirely. I heard flash your, and I was like, what?
No, watch for ticks.
What did you just say? We got to maintain our PG
maybe
rating.
I should have pronunciated a little bit better.
Okay, things Colette would never say. Never say. Awesome. Okay, Facebook. We have, so on the heels of Marge Gray denying ever having eaten a Big Mac, our Costa Rican connection, Mike Adams, pops up with 2 sunshines, a good morning, and then 2 firecrackers, and a little, a minion. Brenda, that's a new name to me. Hello, Brenda. Welcome. If you've watched before, you're new to me, so I always like to greet people warmly and say thank you for popping in. She says, good morning, my Sault Ste. Marie friends and family. Is she connected to you?
She's probably remote. No, I don't recognize it.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Okay. Well, she says anyway, good morning, my Sault Ste. Marie friends and family, with a smiley emoji, and indicates that she misses you all. Steve, he says, always positive and good thoughts. Yes. Shirley comes back to say, my goodness, we now have a Tim Hortons in Thessalon. I had forgotten about that.
We should have led that with breaking news. Somebody told me about that the other day.
News. It's been there for a while. Where? I forget. I think
it's right on the turnoff.
Is that?
As you're headed down.
Oh yeah, you want to catch that traffic.
Yeah, you want everybody going down there. You just want to make sure you got it right. So.
And Mike Adams teases us and says it's 32 and sunny. Well, I think we've heard enough from you, but thank you for stopping by and teasing us with your sunshine and your fruit and your coffee.
One of my trucker friends says that Thessalon one's just become another pee stop for everybody along the way.
I can smell it from here. Okay. We're just going to skip right past that.
We'll leave that alone. Yeah.
We've got, by my mark, about 6.5 minutes left. So I wanted to touch base. There are some really great learning opportunities, some workshops, virtual offerings in our community. Good Learning Anywhere is actually conducting a cultural series, which is an introduction to Indigenous crafts, on May 5th and 19th. So they're being, the Good Learning Anywhere Cultural Series is being offered with both live and independent study courses. The courses, again, are online. They are free. So on May 5th and the 19th, Indigenous people of North America have handcrafted numerous artistic and everyday items throughout history and into the present. So they're inviting everyone to learn about the traditional and contemporary crafts. Now, if you go to the events section on our website, you will be able to click on this. You do have to register, and they have a number of events that are set to roll. A very healthy roster. 7 teachings, 7 fires, exploring First Nation cultures, introduction to Indigenous crafts, exploring First Nation cultures, and really the list is very, very thorough. And then the other thing I wanted to touch base with, I know the pandemic and the stay-at-home order have been particularly difficult for everybody. Yes. But also I know that for some seniors, particularly those who may find themselves living alone, the isolation can be a significant stressor. And to that end, there is a 4-week stress management presentation that is rolling this May. It did start yesterday, but will run every Tuesday. So you are invited to join Aubrey Millard, who is a retired registered psychologist, teacher, guidance counselor, as well as an avid sailor that has sailed all over the world. So Aubrey is offering these 4 classes to stress management. Each one will build on the previous and will end with a deep relaxation and imagery exercise. So again, it's a Zoom thing, and so you would absolutely, once again, go to our website, and all of the information is there so that you can participate. So if you or somebody that you know seems particularly stressed in these moments, you're encouraged to take part, for sure.
And I think our province of Ontario needs to send another thank you out to Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yes.
They are sending a second team of healthcare workers. They sent 12 last week. This time it's 3 doctors and 4 nurses, and they're going to arrive in Toronto. Apparently they arrived in Toronto yesterday afternoon, and they're going to head to Brampton. And Brampton is one of those hot zones in Peel that is really, really bad right now, and they're going to stay there for the next few weeks. So they're giving up their time and being comfortable at home to come here and help us in our time of need. I could only think that the province of Ontario would do the same thing if it was the other way around.
I'd like to think so.
But I do believe that there's a thanks to be had from everybody in Toronto, whether they're from wherever they're coming from, whether they're Canadian Forces members that were brought in to help out, or whether they're these team of doctors and stuff, that they're giving their time away. And as I just talked to you as we were at a last break, for all of the children out there, please remember that this Sunday is Mother's Day, and if you haven't found a way to order something from Amazon, you might be too late in Sault Ste. Marie, because that takes a little while. But
you're not too late, because our local artisan has a whole bunch of stuff that mom's going to want to use, because this mom uses them all the time.
See how I did that?
Yeah. Take a look at this, people. Lather Up handcrafted luscious soap. And I am here to tell you that luscious only begins to describe the exquisite, decadent nature of these products. Look at this. So an individual that I know who is also a hardworking single mom, she is an exceptional parent. She makes these gorgeous soaps from scratch. She has like the full, you've got to see her. It looks like something right out of Breaking Bad when she's in her full-blown suit. But look at these things. This doesn't even look like soap to me. To me, they look like something that you would eat.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say they look like ice cream. And
these, stay there for a minute, Jacob. These are bubbly scoops, okay? So you get these things and you drop them in your bathtub. They're better than a bath bomb because they are infused with a very light moisturizer. These particular ones are some of my favorite. When you drop them in the water, they scent the air and the bath like you smell like like a raspberry iced tea. These are actually shampoo bars. But again, look at them. Does that not look like some sort of a cheesecake cupcake?
I will trust you on all of this because this is new to me. We've had a lot of new to me moments this morning.
So definitely, if you are finding yourself at a loss,
scrambling,
you want to definitely find her on Facebook. She's also on Instagram. She is doing, I believe she told me last night, she's doing a giveaway for Mother's Day. So please do check out Lather Up, because again, you know, in the spirit of Mother's Day and treating your mother to something exceptional and decadent, you are also supporting the local economy and a local entrepreneur. And Crystal, she is the owner and the creator of these beautiful products. Crystal is an exceptional person. She works very hard, and she's obviously very talented.
And with that, our hour has quickly come and gone. Happy soon-to-be Mother's Day. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Happy Hump Day. And
wear your red today.
And take a moment to remember the Indigenous women that have been lost.